So I want to go through and see why. And the title itself, Don't Quit, is really important because it caused me to look and say, don't quit on what? As an entrepreneur, as business people, family people, what are we quitting on? And a lot of times, we stay in things that we need to evolve from, but not quit. Right? Evolve from, right? We can evolve from one business into the next. We can evolve from one relationship into the next. We can evolve from one group into the next, one job to the next. It's evolution as long as we're enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential. So what don't we want to quit on is our potential, our capability. It's those people that quit on their capability that have the most difficult time. Those people that end up in the place that they want to be, or with a purpose or a passion or profitability that they want, are those that don't quit on their capabilities, not on their job, their profession, their relationships, whatever they are. We evolve from those types of things. And as we get into the first line of Edgar's poem, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, look, no perfection is promised. Things will go wrong, as they sometimes will. They will go wrong. So we have to look at how we know when they're going wrong. Pain is the indicator of progress. Pain is the indicator of things are going wrong. Mental, physical, emotional, financial. All of these indicators or pains allow us to say what? It's time that we change or evolve in our direction to a greater point, to or towards our potential. And I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I may, or it may be perceived that I quit on this relationship, on this job, on this profession, on this company, but I'm not. As long as I am focused on enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential, and I'm not quitting on my capabilities, and I know, number one, that things will go wrong if I'm expanding. If I feel stuck, that's a good thing. Because if I feel stuck, that means I'm expanding. I feel stuck, I'm in too small of a space. That's what feeling stuck means. That means I'm growing and accelerating. It doesn't mean that I'm happy where I'm at. That's a quitter. The person that's not trying to improve upon the capabilities that they have. That's a quitter. And pain, if you're feeling it today, which you may because we are in a compressed time of uncertainty, an accelerated time of growth, you may be feeling more pain than ever. You may be feeling mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, or even financial pain. Good, because it's indicating it's time to evolve to something better or make your situation better. The second line, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill. Well, number one, seems. That means that I have the power to make it seem however I want it to seem. But this incorporates the myth of Sisyphus, right? Most people live their life trudging uphill. They take a boulder all day long and they push and trudge it all the way uphill, just to go to sleep and have it roll all the way back down. That's why you need to study your sleep. You need to live your life so you know what time you're waking up tomorrow to plateau and grow so that you don't quit. It's so much easier to continue on when we see the progress and we don't feel like we're trudging uphill every single day with no progress. And because we know our senses are faulty, we can't always distinguish the progress that we've made and also the acceleration that we're experiencing. Because our senses are so weak and our memories are even weaker, we need to know that we are plateauing and growing by setting a baseline at the beginning of the day, by finding our highest frequency at the beginning of the day. Doesn't have to be through meditation like I do. I meditate for 20 minutes to find that higher frequency or baseline so that I know during the day that I am trudging uphill, that I am progressing. And yes, experiencing pain from that progress and learning the lessons, because pain is an indicator that you have a lesson to learn, meaning you will grow and expand and learn that lesson. It will fill that void in your life, whether it's through your own experiences or shared experiences with others or mentors. The next line, when the funds are low and the debts are high. The indicator or thermostat of your life should not be your bank account. Although money is a currency, it is an object of energy that we put into the flow to get what we want. This line is included in so many different places about quitting. When the funds are low and the debts are high. Your bank account is not your thermostat. Your bank account is an ingredient to the mercury of your happiness thermostat. That's why I've added now to the road to revenue / happiness, because happiness is the thermostat. Your bank account, that revenue is just an ingredient in it because it allows you to have more options to buy what you want. And if you buy the right things, it'll make you happy. If you buy the wrong things, it will be a detriment, an interference, a corrosion. It'll make you feel like everything is uphill. So give meaning to the funds that you have and the debts that you've incurred, because those debts may just be an investment in you that allow you to catalytically move or express or expand or accelerate to what you want. And, next line, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. This is the ferocious Buddha, right? We want to smile, but it's just too much. How can we find the light, the love, and the lessons, what we do? How can we find center? How can we get to neutral? I have so many fears, anxiety, separations. I have a need to be right, a need to be offended, a need to be separate, a need to be inferior. I have all these different needs of the ego, which I've wasted so much time, energy, and emotion in my life trying to overcome. Why is it that I have to sigh? What it's telling you is when you're having trouble smiling in the struggle, be ferocious. Identify why, and drop down. That sigh means to breathe, right? If you can't smile, you need to breathe. I call it the 6 breaths of Buddha. For me, I always breathe deep through my nose from the end of the universe all the way through me and out through my mouth. 6 long, deep breaths to allow me to get into neutral, to get to center so that I can smile and roll in the right direction. When care is pressing you down a bit. This is really interesting because how many of you have a need to be offended or resentful? How many of you say, gosh, I wish I didn't care. I only got in this position because I cared about you. I cared about this. I cared about that. I only did this because. I wish I didn't care. Care should not, kindness should not, giving should not press you down. It should be making room for yourself. You need to take accountability if care is pressing you down a bit. Care is an accelerant and an inspiration. You cannot care too much. Care cannot press you down. What's pressing you down is the need to be resentful, offended, the trade of what I give, I should get back in return, the expectation, the judgments, the conditions, the attacking thoughts that we put onto people. It's not the care. Care cannot press you down. Care is clearing the connection and corrosion between us and everything that we want and everyone that we're trying to help. You need to work on your ego. You cannot allow the need to be guilty, resentful, offensive in different circumstances and situations and relationships to press you down. If you're feeling things are pressing you down because you care, then go ahead, stop, drop, and roll. Identify why, understand it, get into that neutrality, and breathe and sigh again until you can roll in the right direction. Now, what it says is, if you do feel that care is pressing you down a bit, then rest if you must. But don't quit. Rest if you must. We need to rest every day. I take vacations every single day. I don't need to take 2 months off ever, but I rest. I rest when I need to rest. I rest a minimum amount of time every day to make sure that I'm not only at my highest frequency, but I'm in neutral so I can roll in the right trajectory, so I can find my center. Right, I was on an interview earlier this morning and someone had indicated to me, I go days. I'm like, days? I used to go days with ego-based emotion. I used to need days of rest. Now I need moments. It went from days into hours, right, into minutes, into moments. It's just a practice. But when you're feeling the learning zone is out to the anxiety zone and everything is squeezing down, rest. Rest. But don't quit. Don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on your capabilities. You can evolve. You can change directions. You can use pain as an indicator that this is the wrong relationship, the wrong business, the wrong profession. Those are all fine. That's not quitting. Quitting is when you give up on you, on your capabilities, on your skills, your knowledge, and your desire. Don't you quit. Rest if you must, but don't you quit. Now it says, life is queer with its twists and turns. I was saying that only one person or type of people on earth like change or twists and turn. That's a wet baby. They're the only ones that like change. Life is queer with its twists and turns, but it also says, or doesn't say, ups and downs. Notice and identify things as twists and turns. Expect change. It's guaranteed. Change means that you're accelerating and growing. But it doesn't say life is queer with its ups and downs. Ups and downs are determined upon the meaning that you give it, right? Is it a setback or a set up? They're just twists and turns. They're evolutionary experiences that allow you to grow and accelerate, to improve on what you're doing. As every one of us sometimes learns. Very, very powerful part of the poem for me. We learn these things when pain indicates that we have a lesson to learn. We now, as everyone sometimes learn, we know that life is about lessons. Life is about lessons. The lessons are going to keep on coming until we learn them. They're going to result in pain as an indicator until we do. The two things that you have to remember why it says sometimes learns is not because we're sometime learning. It's that we always forget the lessons that we've learned, although we have the capability always to remember them, come back together with them, or access them. Right? Remember is to gather or unify with what already exists, which is everything in an abundant world. And many a failure turns about, right? Many a failure turns about. How does a failure turn about? When you learn the lesson, when you accelerate and grow. When you learn that lesson, pain dissipates and dissolves. And those lessons allow your turns, your failures, they turn the other way. It turns a setback into a setup when he might have won if he stuck it out. Eventually, right? The philosophy in business, people ask me, what's the best piece of advice for an entrepreneur? And I said, stay in business. Because every day you're in business, it allows you to evolve. It allows you to learn the lessons, to learn and grow and accelerate. Every single business that's super successful did not start out the way it was supposed to be. It evolved. And what they did was have enough money to stay in business and learn all the lessons that they wanted to learn in order to effectuate that. And they may have made it if they stuck it out. Now, that doesn't mean they didn't evolve. It doesn't mean they didn't change with the twists and turns and learn and grow and they became something else. Is that quitting? No, because they didn't quit on the capabilities, the skills, the knowledge, and the desire that they had in order to effectuate their potential. It had nothing to do with the outcome. It was their potential of growing a business that made money, help people, and have fun. It doesn't matter whether it was an index or an optimization tool or marketing this. All of these different companies have evolved into what they are. And they'll see and continue to do so, especially in this accelerated time of change, compressed time of uncertainty. Now it says, don't give up though the pace seems slow. Look, this is segmentation. Nothing happens as fast as we want unless we look backwards at it. Then it happened faster than we expected. Every single time. And that's because of segmentation. Can you work into your mindset the ability to say things grow exponentially and they accelerate? And they grow exponentially and accelerated at such a slow pace to start that my senses and my memory cannot recognize it. And so therefore, I feel stuck when I'm working the hardest and the most focused and the most resources and investing the most in myself in order to effectuate what I want, it seems even slower because that's the way that segmentation works. That our minds can't pick up a micromillimeter of growth. But if it keeps doubling faster and faster, eventually we will see it. And so will everyone else. And they'll go from laughing at you, scoffing at you, making fun at you, into applauding you. But don't give up just because your senses and your memory are too weak to decipher the growth and acceleration that your efforts are producing. Please. Because, as it says, you may succeed with another blow. You may succeed with another blow. Bamboo takes years and years and years to grow until it reaches the surface. And then in days, it grows feet. And unbelievable. That's the exact example of why people continue to consistently every day, persistently without quit, pursue your potential. You never know when you're one push, one blow, one breath away from succeeding to where your potential is or what you want. The next line reads, often the goal is nearer than. Often the goal is nearer than, almost always unless you're looking backwards. I don't know anyone who has a human existence of conscious, subconscious, and unconscious behavior that can control their perspective to realize how close they are. Because one, you would have to understand the construct of time to a level of infinity that most human beings could never comprehend. And two, be able to keep your ego so far out of your way, the need to have resistance, void, shortages, and obstacles, offense, guilt, anger, frustration, separation, inferiority, superiority, all these different things. You would have to have that at a level of security that I've never seen before in order to actually see a goal nearer than it actually is. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Right? It is a strength to have what? Faith. That's all it's talking about. The only thing that can allow you to realize how close you are to what you want is that you already are where what you want. What does that mean? That people with faith understand that I have everything I need and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at the right place at the perfect time. And if I consistently and persistently enjoy the pursuit of my potential, if I develop my skills, knowledge, and desire and continue to practice those things, I will continue to grow and accelerate and be happy. Because happiness is that pursuit. I am not pursuing happiness. And the faint and faultier men live in ego-based consciousness where what they're doing is creating resistance, void, shortages, and obstacles, and then blame, shame, and justifying why they're not there. Don't attach to an outcome. You cannot attach your happiness to an outcome. You attach your enjoyment to the consistent, persistent pursuit of an outcome or a goal or a vision that you want, and allow yourself with the twists and turns and lessons that you learn in order to effectuate a greater or bigger or better outcome determinative upon having faith. Trust the fact that you're accelerating and growing because your senses and your memory will never pick it up. It says, often the struggler has given up. Why do they give up? I'll tell you, because they stop voting for what they want. They stop enjoying their own pursuit. They start listening to the laughs, to the scoffs, to the giggles and the smirks, to the people making fun of them, to the suggestions of security and stability that those who love us want us to have, those people that we call friends and family that only want the best for us. The best for who? For us meaning them or for us meaning me? When often the struggler has given up, it's because they start voting for two things. They start voting for what other people want for them, and they start voting for what they don't want. And we got to vote for what we want. We have to have faith in not quitting on our own capabilities, our skills, our knowledge, and our desire. The next line reads, when he might have captured the victor's cup. Right? Those who vote for what they don't want start listening to those voices inside our heads and outside of others. We end up quitting on our own capabilities. There's a story about a woman who I believe was swimming across the English Channel, and there was great fog. and she was struggling. There was a lot of pain. And she didn't know how far she had to go. And she jumped back into the boat. And as they're paddling the boat in, the fog lifts and she realizes she's within, I think, a half a mile of the shore. After swimming a ridiculous amount of miles, if she only would have put faith in and voted for what she wanted and not listened to what she didn't want, she would have made it. We can only look backwards. We can only connect those dots backwards to see how near we were or how fast it went. The only way that we can do that and reverse it inside out is with faith. Faith in our capabilities, faith in our skills, faith in our knowledge, and faith in our desire. The next line reads, "And he learned too late as the night slipped down." We learn too late. How many people, right, sit there on their deathbed and learn too late? I wish I could have, I should have. Even those who may have pursued their bank account as their thermostat. Many of you know the story of when I was 30 years old and my dad gave me a jacket and I got so mad at him, and that jacket ended up saving my life. The first gift he's given me in 20 years. And that jacket had no pocket, and he told me, "I gave you that jacket not to wear. I gave it for you to be buried in because I want you to remember you're just like me. That money cannot buy love or happiness, that you can't take anything with you when you're gone." He tore all the insides out of that jacket, and I thought that he didn't understand. I thought that he was lost. But at 30 years old, I was the one that was lost. And later on in my life, 6 years later, when I realized I was lost, when my wife woke me and told me that I was lost, that she wasn't happy and I better take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become. At that point, when I decided that money buys happiness and love, and I was going to show her with the ego-based emotions, and I was going to quit on my own capabilities, that jacket sang to me. And I connected the dots backwards, and I learned not too late. My night did not slip down. That money does not buy happiness. And that jacket rang out true to me to tell me I was lost. I was just like my dad. I was a manipulator, a liar, a back-end seller, a cheater, and that I had to change. And how close he was to the golden crown. Right? How close was that lady to the end of the shore? How close have you been looking back? If you attach your happiness to an outcome, you always will be close, but you will never get there. If you attach your happiness to the pursuit, to the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit enjoyment of that pursuit, you always will be there. You will be right where you're supposed to be, and you'll continually grow and accelerate and learn, and most importantly, be happy. Now, as we get into the last paragraph, it gets really interesting. Success is failure turned inside out. We give meaning to everything we see. Can you find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything, including pain? Can you find the light, the love, and the lessons, including the indicator that you have something to learn? There's 5 stages of quitting. Number 1, pre-contemplating, right? We start thinking about quitting, right? We start denying and listening to what other people want. We pre-contemplate what's going to happen if I quit. What happens if I give up on myself? What are going to be the outcomes? And then from pre-contemplation, we get to the second stage of contemplation. We start really thinking about and bringing life to and speaking words and materializing the quitting. We start going below the line normally and blame, shame, and justification. And then once we talk ourselves into it and bring life to it, we have the third stage of preparation. Right? We start preparing ourselves. What am I going to tell people that I gave up? What am I, right? And this is what you can see that swimmer, right? She's swimming, and first she's got all this pain, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual pain while she's swimming. It's been hours, maybe days. I don't know how long it takes to swim. And all of this, she goes from pre-contemplation to contemplation into preparation of what she's going to have to tell everybody when she jumps onto the boat. And then action, right? Action. 5 stages of quitting. We actually have to jump into the boat and admit, I gave up on myself. I don't have the skills, I don't have the knowledge, and I don't have the desire to continue to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. And then the fifth stage is maintenance of that quitting and relapse. It is a habit, it's a discipline, it's a practice, it's a meaning in our lives. If you start this 5-stage process in your own life and giving up on your capabilities, it doesn't matter if you're swimming the English Channel, playing in a baseball game, or quitting a job, it doesn't matter. It's the discipline and the habit, the continual conscious, subconscious, and unconscious frequency that you're creating, that you start contemplating, preparing, taking action, and maintaining and relapsing as we quit. And it becomes part of you. You start creating void, shortages, and obstacles in everything you do. You start making things completely different. We need success to turn failure inside out. We need to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything we do. We have to realize as we're swimming and there's pain that this is just an indicator, right? This is an indicator. And am I going to find the light, the love, and the lesson in it? Am I going to reach deep enough? We've all seen the video of the kid that crawls on the football field and keeps on calling, and the coach with external motivation is screaming at him, and he's about to quit on the first 10 yards, but somehow makes it 100 yards. Because inside of what he did, success was failure turned inside out, and he utilized the 5 stages of quitting to pre-contemplate his success, to contemplate his success, to prepare for his success, to take action and continue with maintenance and relapse, not to a failure, to a quitting, but relapse to a higher self, to a higher frequency, and relapse every yard into success, not failure. The next line, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt, right? There is a tint of hope, a tint of faith that we can find with the lessons and the light that we can find in each of those clouds, no matter what they are. And you never can tell how close you are because of our faulty sensors and memory. It may be near when it seems so far, as we've already indicated. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. That's what just kills me. It's like you either have the why me people or the try me people. And if you don't take a step back and realize that I have to work on the habit of being a try me person, not a why me person, I am not going to go below the line and blame, shame, justification, and give up on my capabilities, my skills, my knowledge, my desire. I'm not going to do it. I am not a quitter. I am successful because I consistently, persistently, when things get tough, I get tougher. There are no tough situations. They're just tough people. I'm going to get great. And so when I am toughest hit, I look for the bigger lessons and I look for the bigger results. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. Life is about lessons. You will find the greatest lessons we find are inside of you in your quantum being. You are not ever quitting. You are learning, expanding, and growing. Don't quit on the pursuit of your potential. I'm going to finish real quick before I do Q&A. Been blessed to work with 2 people in my life, both great Notre Dame people. One is Joe Montana. Right? Joe Montana is known for unbelievable performance in pressure situations, unbelievable Super Bowl champion, MVP, Hall of Famer, extraordinary athlete. Extraordinary winner. Extraordinary success story. Not a quitter. The other Notre Dame person that I know is Rudy Rudiger. Rudy Rudiger is not Joe Montana. He doesn't have the quantum ability that Joe Montana had. Probably had equal to or greater than capability when it came to consistent, persistent pursuit of his potential. And at a 50th anniversary at the Notre Dame, in the tunnel, Joe Montana is going to be honored, and right behind him being honored is Rudy Rudiger. And Joe Montana kind of whispers, hey, what's Rudy Rudiger doing here? I'm Joe Montana, right? National champion, Super Bowl champion, MVP. what has Rudy Rudiger ever done? Why would so many people want Rudy Rudiger here? Why do so many people, are they inspired by Rudy Rudiger? And Rudy overhears him and whispers into my ear, Dave, they made the movie about me, not him. Because I'll tell you why they made the movie about him, because it's the same reason that so many people love this poem. Rudy Rudiger will never be the football player or the champion on the football field that Joe Montana is. But every step of the way, from when Rudy got to play one play and people laughed at him, scoffed at him, made fun of him, and now they all cheer him. When he steps on stages around the country and speaks and get paid, who on Broadway has a show and a movie and all the things to get his movie done, is a bigger success story of not quitting than actually playing football at Notre Dame with as little talent as Rudy Rudiger has. Right? I can compete with Rudy Rudiger as far as football talent goes, and he got to play at Notre Dame. People love Rudy because he is the essence of what quitting is. Quitting is quitting on yourself, and that guy has never quit on himself. Look, you can lose football games and not quit on yourself. You can quit your job and not quit on yourself. Your company can go under right now and not quit. You can go bankrupt and not quit on yourself. That's not failure. That's not quitting. Don't hold on to an outcome. Hold on to your pursuit of enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential, your capabilities, skills, knowledge, and desire. Be a Rudy, be a Rocky, no matter what your capabilities are, and continue to grow and accelerate and expand, and most importantly, be happy. I appreciate everybody. I hope this was helpful. Let's stick to it. Let's build and grow together. We're here as a community as well. Please, let's get into the questions right now. We got a lot lined up. I'll get started. Christopher, thank you for your question. Hi, David. I just started a new business where I sell to SMBs, small businesses, and I am having trouble trying to get my pricing right, especially in a world of COVID shutdowns where everyone is starving. Any suggestions? Yeah, change your mindset. Everyone is not starving. There's a third of the people that are doing really, really well because they've aligned their capabilities in one way or another with which is synergistic or supplementary to the things that are doing well right now. There's a third of the people that are doing the same. And I'm using statistics that are bullshit. Remember, the only statistic I know is true is that 99% of all statistics are made up. Right? 99% of all statistics are made up. A third of the people are doing well. A third of the people are doing the same. And a third of the people, right, are starving. Let's say that. So first of all, you need 3 levels of pricing. 3 functionalities of pricing that are determinative upon your value. So start with how much value are you providing. So let's say that my service is to give $100 bills out to everyone and ask for $20 bills back. Well, I'm going to go to the people that are doing real well, and they're going to buy up a lot of my $100 bills and give me 20. Then I'm going to go to the people that are stable, and they're going to buy up a whole hundreds and 20s. And then I'm going to go to people that are starving, and they're going to find the 20s to buy my 100, even though they don't have it. Why? Because they make $80. That's what business is about. It has nothing to do about the customer. It has to do about your value and the energy that you carry and the ability you have to articulate that value to the ability of a 100 to 20 exchange. Because if my business was giving away $100 bills and asking for $20, trust me, I would make a fortune. You do the same. Everything that we have can be put into a quantitative value. If you look at the reasons that you're selling it, the impact it's going to have on your client, and the capabilities that you have that equal that value with credibility, emotional attachment, boom, $100 for 20 all day long. Hi, Fernando. Great to see you. Is the movie Jerry Maguire based on your life? No, it is not. It is based on Lee Steinberg's business, which I was CEO of. And Lee Steinberg is one of my favorite movies because it's a love story with a sports background and taught me so much about business, about the business of sports, the bug light of sports, using the irrationality of the connection that people have to sports with all aspects of business. TJ, seems equals perceptions. You give meaning to everything that you see. Absolutely. Your perception is everything. You create the realities and illusions that exist in your life. Nate, what is the text number? I think it's behind him, but it's covered. Sorry about that. Yes, the text number is 949-298-2905. Text me to get your quitting guide, my free books, to talk to me, whatever you need to do. Text me at my number. I will answer. For those people who go, hey, is it really Dave? You do get the voice message back going, yes, this is really Dave. I might be quick and fast, but I'm going to get to everybody. 949-298-2905 at David Meltzer, and of course, dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. Thanks for the free commercial, Nate. All right, Savannah, what is your opinion on day trading? Well, day trading takes a lot of practice. I had a friend at Tulane who made $1 million his freshman year day trading. A certain portion of people are going to do very well at day trading. Number one, you better be capitalized to be able to stay in business and learn and be able to lose money and learn from that. I would get an expert, a mentor in your space, specifically in the industry that you're trading on, the companies you're trading on. Get as much interested information as you can. Test it, practice it. Like any other thing that you do, you must have enough money to stay in business, and you must have enough time to practice it, to learn the subtle nuances of how and where and what you can make in the aspect of day trading. Iqbal, thank you. Can you explain the care thing one more time? Yeah, caring cannot press you down, right? It says, when wish I didn't care, right? When care is pressing you down a bit. If you caring too much, if you putting attention and intention to a coincidence that you want too much, if other people say something that hurts your feelings or you feel a certain way from an external source, care does not put you down. Your ego puts you down. So you need to understand why and stop, drop, and roll, because that means your mind, body, soul are on fire when caring is pressing you down. Caring is perfect. Caring is paying attention and giving attention to the things that you want. So care doesn't press you down, it extends and expands. The ego presses you down. The anxiety created by the ego constricts your learning zone, which now your learning zone becomes that small little comfort zone. Pretty soon people have nervous breakdowns and can't get out of bed. What we want to do is make our learning zone the size of our comfort zone, the anxiety zone the size of our learning zone, and continue to grow and accelerate. What's the difference between quitting and pivoting? All right, that's the whole purpose of this. What? The difference between pivoting and quitting is that you can only quit on one thing, yourself. So you pivot through all these different activities you get paid for, activities you don't get paid for, relationships and jobs and investments and businesses and all these activities that you get paid for and you don't get paid for, and you pivot to grow and accelerate and expand and learn. But don't quit on yourself. When you quit on your capabilities and you stop developing skills, you stop acquiring knowledge and asking for help and giving help, and you quit on your own desire, that's the difference between quitting and pivoting. That's the difference between enjoying your life and being miserable. Dave, were you aware of these principles at the low point of your financial life? So now we're using my bank account as a thermostat. All right. What were you feeling then, if different? No. I did not. The low point of my life was 2 years before I lost everything. And I was lost. Money was my thermostat. Money could buy happiness and love. And until I shifted, let me tell you what really shifted in that awareness. At the low point, I was fooling myself by something that most of us believe. And we're not taught correctly or appropriately. I believed that the more that I gave, the more I would get. So everything was a trade in my life. Everything had judgments and conditions. If I gave to a charity, I wanted recognition and acknowledgement. If I gave money to a sibling to buy a car, I wanted lifetime thanks and gratitude. If I helped my mom, I wanted appreciation and I wanted to be the favorite child, whatever it was. And then I learned one thing. Receiving was what I should be focused in on, because I had a problem asking for help. I had a problem receiving. And when I shifted the paradigm and said, I don't give to get. I get so I can give. The whole energy and perspective changed in my life. I started really not wanting to quit. I started aligning my capabilities, skills, knowledge, and desire, making them synergistic and supplementary to the things that I could receive at that exact time. So I could give to more people and have more fun. It's a completely simple but yet powerful distinction that changed my life at the low point of my financial life. Thank you. Jaden, can you talk about developing the it factor? The it is you. So if you want to change it for I am, the it factor in changing the it factor goes back to the 5 that will change your life. You need to take inventory of your values, personal, experiential, giving and receiving values. 2, you need to ask and attract. You need to ask people how you can be of service or value, and ask people, do you know anyone that could help me? See people as sponsors and power sponsors, not as gatekeepers. You need to be a student in your calendar. You have to know the formula of life. Attention plus intention equals the coincidences that we want in what we have planned, what we don't have planned, and your sleep. You need to do things now. Ask yourself, can I do it now? If you can't do it now, then put it in your calendar for tomorrow and prioritize by what's most important. 100% of things that you do now get done. The difference between most successful, happy people and people that are not are people that are happy and successful get shit done. Finally, practice ending fear, which is always an overall theme of what we teach here. If you do those 5 things, you are an I am an it factor. Like Tesorio, do you believe and celebrate a measured accomplishments? Do you believe in celebrating a measured accomplishment? And if so, how do you suggest doing so? Is there such a thing as rewarding yourself too little or too much to one's detriment? I had this balance sheet mentality that is not healthy because it creates limiting beliefs. It creates void, shortages, and obstacles. I would do something super good, then I would reward myself. I would justify in balance sheet, I just made so I can spend this. Everything was on some sort of balance sheet instead of aligned with my values according to that day. My personal, experiential, giving and receiving values. There was no quid pro quo, no trading. There was no perspective changing. My accomplishments were determined about my thermostat of how I felt with the goals and visions in mind. That was a movable target, knowing that my target was moving to make my situation better or a better situation for me. So if my target was this amount, it could change to a different amount tomorrow, but I was enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. My accomplishment was to start my next day at a higher frequency. The way that I felt became my accomplishment. Not the meaning of what I gave, what I occurred in my activity I get paid for and not paid for. This detachment of emotion is extremely important in order to figure out how we measure our growth and acceleration. Not by our bank account, not by touchdowns and field goals, but how we feel. That's your thermostat. That's why it says road to revenue / happiness, because revenue is an ingredient of the mercury of our happiness, because it allows us at this vibration, this pragmatic lower vibration, to buy what we want. And if we buy the right things, we're going to be happy. If we buy the wrong things, we'll create interferences, void, shortages, and obstacles to ourselves and not be happy. All right. What if you don't have faith in your capabilities? First of all, as much as I talk about money being a currency, it's an object of energy that you put into the flow to get what you want. Think about money in its aspect of American Express. They don't pay me for a sponsorship. This is free for them. Green card of American Express gets me so much. Gold card gets me more. Platinum card gets me more. And a black card gets me everything I want. That is at this vibration. Right? I can buy whatever I want, get what I want. If I buy the right things with my gold card or platinum card or black card, boom. Faith. Faith in our capabilities. Faith is a currency. The difference is, if you have green card faith in your capabilities, you're going to only get so much of your skills, knowledge, and desire. If you got gold card faith, you'll get a little bit more. You got platinum card faith, you're going to get a little bit more. How close to your potential of a black card faith do you have in yourself? And guess what? It's just like credit, man. It builds. You have to earn your credit. You got to earn enough to get a gold card, a platinum card, and a black card. You got to earn your faith by practicing it. We practice faith. by getting out of our way, by living as ferocious Buddhas, by stop, dropping, and rolling, by identifying when we're in ego-based consciousness, separating ourselves from others in inferiority, superiority, and separateness, by judging other people with attacking thoughts and conditions, by being angry and upset and frustrated and guilty and resentful and offended. But that ferocious Buddha, you're going to be ferocious about identifying your own insecurities and identifying your own separation of what? The light, love, and lessons that you're always connected to. If you had gold card, platinum card, black card faith, and what you were connected to and what lives within you, the light, love, and lessons that already exist, you would have no problem having faith, black card faith in your capabilities. I promise you. All right, how can we nip things in the bud during the pre-contemplation or contemplation stages? Cancel, clear, connect. If I start thinking, saying, and doing things that are contemplating my failure, I cancel them. I say out loud cancel. I got my 10-year-old son saying cancel. Not just from when he says something, but when I say something. He'll be like, cancel, Dad. Right? Literally. Cancel them. And if it keeps on coming back, then be a Buddha and breathe and clear your mind. And then connect to the greatest source of light, love, and lessons that you already are connected to. Clear the connection and interference of that. It'll nip right in the bud the pre-contemplation and contemplation state of failure, of interference, voids, and shortages. Dejana, I agree on don't quit, but not all the pains are worth taking. How you distinguish which pains is worth to take. Values. This is why everybody has to take inventory of values and not be afraid that you're a hypocrite. Take inventory of your personal, experiential, giving and receiving values to know for you clearly what you want to do. Balance your values, and they don't have to be equally balanced every day. Hopefully in the end of your existence, they'll be balanced, but each day they could be way off balance. And then that will give you focus, which is what? The studying of not just your calendar, but attention plus intention, which will equal the coincidences in what you want, which will allow you to accelerate and grow at a faster pace and be happier with less capability of quitting than anything else. So that's how you choose what's worth it, aligned with your personal, experiential, giving and receiving values, getting clear, balanced, and focused on those, which will give you confidence in picking and choosing or prioritizing what you want. And learn, meaning the lessons you learn to ignore or get over certain pain. What's the difference between quitting and going forward because it's not worth it? Little Florine, what's the difference between quitting and going forward because it's not worth it? Would you mean not going forward because it's not worth it? So quitting can only be, the only thing you can quit on is yourself and your capabilities. You're only pivoting or adjusting or growing or accelerating determinative upon an outcome, a relationship, a job, a business, a game, right? You're not a quitter because you lost the game. You're just going to make adjustments and try to win the next game. You get toasted as a defensive back in football. You're not a quitter unless you quit on your capabilities and go sit down, right? You just learned a lesson, and hopefully you won't get burned again. How can you accelerate while finding your niche in this world? You don't find a niche. You're living in an abundant world of more than enough of everything. You're accelerating and growing. You might find something that's more comfortable, that feels like a better niche for you by accelerating and growing and exploring and pivoting and learning lessons and moving into your own destiny, your own potential, but you're already in your niche. You're already in your niche. So don't go looking for a niche. Look to improve and accelerate and grow your capabilities. That's your skills, your knowledge, and your desire. And you will get into better and bigger niches and get a better fit for you. In other words, when your thermostat of how you feel is one that feels better, you'll feel like, ooh, I must be in my niche. No, you're already in your niche. You can find a bigger, better, and greater niche for yourself. That's cool. By expanding, growing, and accelerating, utilizing all the different techniques that we teach here. Great questions, by the way. Angelo, best way to integrate yourself into a new culture that's not the norm for yourself. Well, I hope this is a daily occurrence for you, right? It's called the learning zone, right? And what we want to do is understand and pray for happiness. We want to get alignment, then take action, and then adjust, right? Alignment, action, adjustment, AAA strategy. And we do that through understanding, looking for the light, the love, and the lessons in all relationships, all cultures, all circumstances. And we're able to use that AAA philosophy in order to effectuate that. So, what is the best way to practice more strategic thinking or reference? So for me, the strategic thinking comes from philosophies of being more interested than interesting. So best way to practice more strategic thinking is to ask for help. Why would we want to pay the dummy tax ourselves? Why would we want to figure out the systems, the constructs, formulas all by ourselves? Why do we go to school? Mentorship, right? Where do we learn our strategic thinking? From others, from people that have done certain things in the past so that we can build upon what they've done. Not just learn what they have, we can build upon what they've done by questioning what they've done, expanding on what they've done, surpassing what they've done. But the best way to get there is to have the head start of realizing and learning what they've done, either from them or a video or a book or something else that they've constructed in order to effectuate that learning, that strategic thinking. And those are the best references, people that have sat in the situation or know or have the knowledge that you want. Amir, hey David, have you considered selling a positive David Meltzer doll, David Meltzer button? I'd be really handy to give the doll to kids and have the button say some David Meltzer pep talks. This is partly a joke, but I'm kind of also being serious, I think. Thank you. I would create the Dave Meltzer doll, but I'd be very fearful for what my children and wife would do to it. It would be more like a voodoo doll with pins. I appreciate that. I think more importantly, I don't need to sell these ideas. Whether you have children or not, the content is free. Have them come to these trainings. Have them watch my videos. I'm even going to start putting out TikTok videos to withstand the 8-second content to help them, which I think would be much more handy and a lot cheaper being free than a Dave Meltzer doll. And although I would like to see what one would look like. How about a ferocious Buddha doll? We'll get that. Get all kinds of questions here. All right, here we go. Dave, what gets you up in the morning every day? The night before. So the night before, I'm a student of my calendar. I pay attention to and give intention to the coincidences I want for tomorrow. One being to wake up at 4 a.m. and to start my day at the highest frequency, knowing that I only get one action tomorrow. I only get one action tomorrow, and that's waking up. That's the only action that I get. Everything else is a reaction to what I feel like, think, state of mind, meaning from when I wake up. Everything is a reaction to that. I'm just reacting. After I wake, the first action, everything. So I need the night before to wake up at my highest frequency. I need to pre-program myself through the activities that I get paid for and not get paid for the night before, through a variety of different things and strategies and lessons that I've learned and help that I've asked for and help that I've given in order to effectuate the one action that I need to give me a tomorrow, to wake up at my highest frequency so that I can plateau and grow, that I can use that one gift that I've been given, the one gift of waking up, and react correctly to improve myself. My reactions are to accelerate and grow. Not like the myth of Sisyphus, to just roll a ball uphill so that in the morning I wake up back at the bottom of the hill. Do you have any advice for a beginner business owner? Yes, I have tons of advice for Cerise. One, stay in business. Greatest piece of advice that I've ever done. If you are not focused on making sure that you have enough resources to continue to stay in business, and do not attach your emotions to an outcome and think that you know what business you're in. You'll find out what business you're in by consistently, persistently pursuing your potential of your skills, knowledge, and desire, and the company's skills, knowledge, and desire. It will evolve, but you got to stay in business. And so you got to consistently, persistently make sure that you have enough resources, time, money, help in order to do that. All right? Don't think that you know what you know. Your business could end up in a completely different place if you have the right perspective. Jeff, Dave, I'm trying to close my first commercial real estate deal, even in this climate. What do you mean even in this climate? This is a great climate. third of the people are in a great position. A third of the people are in a stable position. A third of people are not buying commercial real estate, but they might be selling. All right, I've got a couple of potential clients that are on the fence about selling, but one gentleman is older and wants to sell but doesn't really ever remember what our last conversation was about. And he also wants to reschedule and get things going. How would you handle a client with short memory? That's simple. Create a go, no go plan in writing. Everybody out there, the key to managing and developing a vision when you have a shared vision with somebody is to create a go, no go plan and put it into writing. Right? And it's not because you don't trust the guy. It's because your memory is bad. You want to make sure that you remember exactly what you said in order to effectuate and manage expectations and meet those. So go ahead, Jeff. You can reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. dmeltzer.com, @DavidMeltzer. Just reach out. I will send you a go, no go plan. Get it to our more wise friend who's going to sell you the real estate, because you're going to step him through step by step. I'm going to do this, then you're going to say yes or no. I'm going to do this, then you're going to say, if you say yes, we're going to continue. Here's the next step. You're going to walk him through with little yeses to get things done. Everyone out there should be effectuating in the managing development state a go, no go plan and allowing it to be accountable to you. The reason I'm putting this in writing is because I have a bad memory and I want to make sure I remember everything I promised to do. Does that sound fair? Rewatch this video a few times. You can put it on TikTok if you want. All right. How do you stay focused on big projects? I feel like the day escapes me more often than not. Yeah, you got to be a student in your calendar. Right? You got to prioritize by what's most important first and then delegate just urgent things. If you're not getting things done, let alone the big projects, you're not a student of your calendar. Don't glance at your calendar. Don't look at your calendar. Study the things you have planned and prioritize them. Study the things you don't have planned and prioritize them. And study sleep. Create a formula and a system from conscious, subconscious, and unconscious realm in order to effectuate with a lens of productivity and a lens of accessibility and a lens of gratitude to get what you want rapidly and accurately. All right, last question. Why is the last mile empty and the hardest? Last mile is empty because the 1% of the 1% of the 1% make it to the empty mile. There's nobody there. Well, you know why? Because people are focused on quitting of an outcome instead of they end up quitting on their capabilities, and then they're never going to get there. Quitting on an outcome is just pivoting, growing, learning, and accelerating. Quitting on your capabilities, which the 1% of the 99%, then 99%, then 99% do. That's why it's empty. And that's why it's the hardest, because people rely on their perceptions and memory in order to effectuate growth, acceleration, and achievement when they should be focusing on enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of their potential. They should be focusing on their capabilities, their skills, their knowledge, and desire. And they never should quit on their skills, knowledge, and desire. You should be Rudy. You should be Rocky. You should think about quitting is what am I quitting on, not necessarily am I quitting. Are you quitting on your capabilities? And if you are, please learn to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential, detach from that outcome. And I promise you, you will manifest everything you desire rapidly and accurately. Thank you, everybody, so much for your time. If you want a replay of this, if you missed it, please just reach out. If you want the Don't Quit training guide, my books, for free, you have any other questions, it is dmeltzer, david@dmeltzer.com, @DavidMeltzer, or 949-298-2905. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We will see you next week. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I look forward to everyone happy and healthy and wealthy. Thank you. And thank you.